Hey guys, Steve Zelenato here with Remax West and Zelenato Associates. Happy Monday morning, happy Valentine's Day. It's going to be a cold one, but I'm sure we will figure it out. We're used to it this year, that's for sure. Current inventory, we're at 5,832 units, so up from last week. Surprising, we're going to be tipping into the 6,000 range. I didn't even think we were going to get there, just due with the amount of non-inventory getting to the market, or inventory getting to the market, and the amount of sales. But if you kind of look at it, last week we had the most amount of sales that we've ever recorded since maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months. We had about 1,700 units actually sell in the last 7 days. So this is huge. Usually right now we're like between that 12 to 1,500 range, and now we had 1,700 units sell, and inventory is still packing up. So this is good signs. Naturally, it's going to be more healthy for buyers. If you kind of break this number down to 5,832 units, you break it into what is the product available on the market. So basically Freehold versus the condominium market, how many units per category, and what's the ratio. So basically right now it's a 60-40 split, and it's 60% more freeholds than actual condos. So 60-40 split on that number. So it works out to 3,544 houses, let's say, freehold houses, and 2,288 condos, which is surprising because we know condos are, there's a lot more buildings going up and a lot more units available, and it's still offset. I mean, we went from, it was condos, the majority of the inventory, then it was like a balance, and now we've kind of gone the other side with the freehold. So let's see what happens with that. I would imagine, the more inventory, the better it's going to be for all of us coming to the market. And hopefully this thing could get to 7,000 to 8,000 by May, but we'll see what happens. And just to be honest, I think this is probably one of the first times in my career that there's no predictions that we can make and kind of guide clients in the right direction. I'll be the first to admit this. We have no data, no past data. We don't know what's going on. We know that everything should have caved right at COVID, just based on what the future held and all the businesses that were closing and everything. We know obviously quantitative easing, the printing of money, and all the money that was getting handed out, but ultimately we're here and we're in one of the most inflated real estate markets in the world. And even me looking at stuff, it's disheartening to see what they're selling for, because we know the value's not there compared to the rest of the world. And so this is the first time we were, I think coming into this year, I was only going to predict per quarter. So for 90 days, we can kind of give some sort of prediction on what's going to happen. We're not even there right now. If we had to backtrack, I can only maybe predict the next 30 days currently at this point now, because we don't know what houses are going to sell for. We don't know how much you're going to make, how much money you're going to pull out, put into the new property, if there's going to be a new property available. There's so many uncertainties going forward. So, obviously the only advice I give to clients right now, if you need to sell. If there's, your family's grown and you need a larger house, buy and sell. Naturally, you have the, you're trading a commodity for a larger commodity. Yes, it'll go up with your mortgage, but it is what it is. We all have to do that at some point. If you're downsizing, yes, fair enough. Then there's the investment section of this. So buying and selling is fine as long as you're holding a commodity. First time buyers, you should be getting into the market, because even if the market does dip, it's going to go back at some point. It's not a question. So if you can get in, you have the extra funds, buy something that you can afford for sure. But for investment sake right now, this is probably the first time in my career that I'm actually going to start pushing clients into condos as investments rather than freehold houses, because prior, let's, the last, 11 years of my career, let's say the last 8 years, or minus the last 3 years, we couldn't buy, or maybe 2 years rather, because then we switched gears. So it was basically, clients, I want to buy a condo in the city. Okay, why would you do that? You can use that same amount of money. We can buy you a freehold or a townhouse, something up in just 50 minutes from the city. You're going to be a cash positive, a good investment. At that time, when we were selling these things in like 2014, they were making like 7 to 8% appreciation per year, which was nice money. You're making like $30,000 a year on appreciation, $6,000 mortgage pay now, and you're like $500 cash positive per month. It was a no-brainer, and it's a growing community. If it's a long-term investment, you're going to benefit from it because it was still undeveloped. And then that ended where you can't buy a freehold anymore, or like a single family home, because what happens is it became not cash positive, and it became a negative draw. So what do? I have to make new investment models for clients. So then it became duplexes, and anything that I've done it first. And now that's why we're in Florida now. So I'm going to test the waters there, and then I'm going to report back to clients. But so we went into duplexes. So if you bought a end unit townhouse, or a small bungalow or a raised bungalow, we duplexed them. And yes, this got us back into the market where things became affordable and we're cash positive and it was a good investment and we stay away from the city. Now we can't even get a duplex for the amount of money that makes sense to cover the expenses. A triplex, same idea. So what do you do now for investment's sake? I think condominiums, we're going to have to switch back to this because you need to get it in the market at some point, even though it's not a very profitable let's say investment, but it is still in the market. It's going to still appreciate and still going to pay you some money per month in a mortgage pay down, so it's still beneficial. And that's the next model that I'm going to now, which people have been doing it for many years, but we've cleaned up a lot better north of the city than in the city. Let's call it. We did well for clients with our advice, and now we're trying to see if we can go into Florida and do the same model there, and I'm testing it and then I'm going to report back. But it's quite interesting where first time on our careers that we cannot predict what's going on. So the only advice, make sure what you're buying is something that you need, and if it's an investment, make sure obviously it's a great investment. Don't buy something because it's that FOMO, the fear of missing out, and you're going to get yourself into trouble. I'm going to stop this here at 6 minutes. I got another segment that'll roll into this, and it's all about insolvency article I just read now. And that's it, guys. Have an amazing day. We'll talk soon. Ciao.